Hello and welcome to the first run of Don's FSD Challenge. For more information on the challenge, please see the introductory video. What we're going to do is going to run around DC here on a 110-ish mile loop, and we're going to see where FSD or where Navigate on Autopilot can succeed and not. In this first run, Navigate on Autopilot will only be able to succeed in a few of the 23 challenges. Hopefully over time we will see Navigate on Autopilot be able to accomplish more and more of these tasks. Alright, so the first 3 or 4 challenges run up to Braddock Road, and then we turn back around to come up 395. So the first challenge is right here in the lot. Eventually FSD should be able to get us out of the lot. At the moment it cannot, so we won't even try. There is challenge number 1. Not considered a challenge per se, but getting onto Old Keene Mill Road will be an interesting test case overall. It's all considered part of getting out of the lot. Alright, I'll go ahead and jump into autopilot here. We're on a surface street, so Navigate on Autopilot doesn't work here. Alright, just like that, we're in Navigate on Autopilot as soon as we're on the on-ramp. So here we're going way too slow. Everyone else is just pulling away. Here's challenge number 2 coming up. It's 3 lane changes to get to 495 North. It's only about 500 yards. I'm gonna just have it doing the speed limit. She knows she needs to get over. She's gonna try. Looks like we got a good lane shift here. Good. See, the second one though, we're blocked. So what will she do? She's not. I'm gonna have to break out here. This is the perfect example of just not being able to be aggressive enough. Even having to break out, it was not particularly hard for me to complete that last maneuver. Alright, here we go. See what happens. No traffic at all, so we'll see what she's able to do. Alright, with no traffic, did just fine. So Navigate on Autopilot's going to end right up here. The car slows down by design when Navigate on Autopilot goes off typically. So there we are, but I'm going to just let Gracie run in autopilot up the cloverleaf. Still very slow, so I'm going to use a little bit of accelerator here. I'm going to drop out because we just have an immediate left here. This is not obviously doable in any way, shape, or form yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it manually. And got to go across 1, 2, 3 into a 4th lane with the white line. So technically the state doesn't want us doing that, but something people do. It'll be interesting when Navigate on Autopilot becomes available on surface streets, what it will choose to do. It could go up further and come back, which would be fine, but it will be interesting to see how it makes that transition. Alright. Back into Navigate on Autopilot. for this challenge, we will go from 495 south that we're on now onto 395 north. It's an interesting little turn. It starts with 2 lanes here. It merges down to 1 lane about halfway through, and then there's another merge that comes in from the right, and then that further merges in, and you got to make a left lane change to get into the main artery of 395. Looks like there's some traffic here, so we'll see what that looks like coming around the corner. Gracie usually does pretty good at this, except for the merge onto the 395 north artery. Struggles getting in with all the cars before the lane ends. Well, the lane exits onto Edsel Road if you don't get over. Alright, so we got the merge coming up here. No one coming behind us, so we should be okay. Car slowed down nicely. A little odd here. Yeah, pretty good though. So we're just going to see what it does in the traffic here. Pretty normal stuff here. So here we got this long lane merge, and Gracie moves to the right, and trying to get left is just the most odd thing ever. Again, I'm gonna not break out. Come on. He's giving you the in. Well, see there, just so weird what the lane change stuff does in this version of version 10. So Gracie was given the opportunity to go in by the car behind us. Gave us tons of room, way more room than one would ever expect. But still eventually made the lane change, and then petered out. Just did it again, trying to make the lane change. They said nope. Sitting here with the turn lane on. So this is another odd thing here with it turns the lane changing. So there was a car right beside us, and then Gracie decided to start the turn signal right when the car was beside us, and then that car got into the right lane, but just odd. Notice there are no traffic cones here either. I understand the next version coming out that's starting to roll out already is starting to see traffic cones, and this is all a good example here of the conservative nature of Navigate on Autopilot actually having a negative impact. It's sort of good overall that it gets in the right lane early, but in this case it's all slowed down because of this construction, and actually now you would just move over without any problem, which is what most people do. Does a nice, not such a nice job there. Didn't know where to go. One of the things about Navigate on Autopilot here, even though we're going through to GW Parkway North, Navigate on Autopilot currently just is insistent on staying in the right-hand lane, and that's just not the right lane to be in. The middle lane here, where all the cars are, is where you want to be. All right, breaking out of autopilot here. This is just a good example today of the kind of traffic we have here. It's not, it's better than it can be at times. So you got all this weird stuff happening here. Cars coming all over the place. There we go. And no one jumping in the last second from the right lane, which is a pretty common occurrence. You can see why this will be very tough. Conditions there change all the time. All right, still in the middle of this challenge. We come down underneath the bridge, and we got another sort of interesting case here. Technically, we have two lanes here. I'm going to go ahead and get in the right lane, but not really. It's kind of weird how this all happens. The left lane just kind of becomes part of the other lane. All right, and then to wrap up this challenge is this on-ramp here, which is really crazy. You don't have any sight lines. The other cars are coming really fast. All right, back into Navigate on Autopilot here. Well, it's interesting that it's not letting me be in Navigate on. Oh, that's interesting. We have to stop and see if we can reset here. This is interesting. All right, I don't know if that reset things or not, but we will try and see what happens. All right, and here we're coming up to the left turn to go across Key Bridge. Hit the light green. Not. I'm going to just let autopilot bring us to a stop, which it does. Go ahead and brake out since we can't do the left turn. It's interesting. I'm going to break out there because autopilot will only go 30 on the bridge, but no one goes 30 on the bridge. I'm just going to break out here. It's pretty interesting little segment there. You can see why I've got it on the challenge list. All right, back into autopilot here. This is another navigate on autopilot surface street. The next challenge is just up ahead here. It's where Arizona comes down to meet Canal Road. And what happens here is they turn Canal Road here into a 3-lane road. On the northbound side here, a right turn lane slides off to the right. And in the southbound lane, they make a left turn in the center, which means that this lane that I'm in now becomes the center lane, and you have to make a jink right in the middle of the intersection to not go head on into the left turning cars. You won't see it on this run because I'm stopped, but there's autopilot does not see this at all. All right. You also see how all the signage there is basically obscured by the vines. That's kind of typical around here. All right, back into autopilot. Let's see what she does here. Slides over in an awkward way. Once again, Gracie will only go 40 through here. No traffic cones, but everyone else just goes flying through here. The next challenge is right up here as well. This is another odd section of road where it sort of splits, but then you have to stay left. Currently, autopilot doesn't work through here. It does some weird stuff. This is out, and right now all these are blocked, so I'm going to go ahead and break out because this, you see that it just doesn't know what to do there. I'm actually going to drop up here and see if I can try to reset the car. Normally we would go left there. I'm going to see if I can find a place to park and reset. Park right in here maybe. Yep. haven't done this before. Power off. Alright, I have repowered everything, and I reset the center consoles as well. Still at 100% on brightness. Let's go back to our route and let's see if anything has changed. Alright, resuming our route is where we would come in right here. Looks like we got 2 lanes. We would be coming in from the left right there. Alright, here we go. Can't even go into autopilot right now. It doesn't detect the lanes. There we go. Let's see what we can do here. Alright. Gracie wants to be in the left lane. We're just going to let her do what she wants to do. Still struggling with the lane changes. Very slow, very cautious. Starts, slows down. Okay, so far so good. Exactly what I would hope she would do. Okay. Challenge completed. Now we're just going to go right around the top of the beltway. If all goes well, this is the sweet spot of Navigate on Autopilot. Still does these weird jinks to the right whenever there's a merge lane like that. Alright, I had to cancel the lane change there. There's just, again, just crazy behavior in lane changing. here we are again. It wanted to make the lane change. It had a spot to do it, but then was too slow to do so. Yeah, just so it sees all these cars coming up here. There we go. Finally was able to do it. So what are you gonna do here? Here's a Here's a good example. Speed limit says 45. I'm doing 60, and the guy behind me is just screaming at me to move over. Gal, guy, whatever. So this is a good example of BW Parkway. So I've manually moved over. That's another really fail. I mean, Gracie should not have stayed in that lane. And now we get to a really interesting part, 295 southbound here. So I've currently got Gracie set to 60. The speed limit say 45. We're still in the divided road, so Tesla says, yep, go whatever you want to go. But if we stay going 60 through here, we will get a ticket in the mail. And so let's see what Gracie does. So the photo machines are typically up ahead here about a half a mile. To do there with everyone coming over. So still letting me do 60, still a divided road. So we'll just go with the flow of traffic here. It's going to slow us down to below the threshold, but it would definitely let us just keep plowing through here. Let's see if we see any of the traffic cameras up here. 50 is about what you can do. No traffic camera there today. Okay, that was weird. Little phantom braking there. All right, coming up on the next big challenge, 695 to 395 to 110 north. We'll see how it does. I've never driven on Navigate on autopilot through here, so let's see what happens. Gracie's already got herself in the correct lane. A little bit early, but that's okay. No harm in that being early here. All right, she's saying going the right way. That's okay. This is a good lane to be in, actually. She chose the left-hand lane, which causes the least number of lane changes coming up here. So she dropped down to 50 there, so that's good. So far so good. If I remember right, do we have to get over a lane? No, maybe this goes straight through. Oh, how about that? So far so good. And they've got the lane markings in better shape than they've been in quite a while. Everything's doing really well through here. No drama at all. Doing exactly. It's calm, slow enough to be comfortable, not too slow. Very nice. Now this segment we're considering a separate challenge. I would definitely want to be over in the left-hand lane here, given the way traffic flows through this section. There's no harm in being in this lane, so we'll just stay. Gracie's reduced down to 45, which is the understood speed limit. I'll leave it. Actually, I'll go up to 50. Allows 5 over. But even at 50, you'll see I'm pretty much going to get run over here. Does it consider this a divided highway? Oh, it does. So it will allow me to go faster. Still would prefer to be over a lane. Remember, even on Navigate on Autopilot, you can manually request the lane change, so I could easily shift over. But again, my goal here is to see what the computer will do. Gettysburg here will have to get across and merge into this lane. This is definitely a forte of version 10 right now, is how nicely it lets other cars in. Just does it very seamlessly as soon as they use their blinker. Use the accelerator here to give myself a little room. Still a weakness, as I've said many times on this first run, is lane changing in heavier traffic. It just is too skittish. Oh, this is interesting. We get an unsupported maneuver, drop me back to autopilot. It's interesting that it wouldn't let me do this here. Will it let me make the turn with autopilot? It will. Go ahead and just use my accelerator a little bit. Oh, and then I'm back. Oh, that was very interesting because I'm back in autopilot now. A little slow through there, but not too bad. This is the designated way to Route 66 West, and for some reason it's just not going to pull me that direction. I don't know why. So, oh, drop me out. Navigate on autopilot, that's fine. So that actually is good, so it'll let me just stay where I am and stay on Navigate on autopilot. I'll hold this and then I'll queue up my next waypoint as soon as we're on 66. So it's interesting that it didn't go straight through there. That's very odd. Why? Okay, but we're going to just go. We're back. Now we're on 66. But this is weird. Why isn't... Well, that whole segment was really weird. That was not a segment that I thought would cause problems. So that was interesting. I'm going to manually intervene here to get to the right lane. No one's really held up yet, but I'm going to consider that a failure. The car should not just stay in the right-hand lane or in the left-hand lane. Well, this is really interesting. The car needs to be over one lane, and it has not decided to do that yet. Okay, I'm going to have to do this myself. There's a failure. It intended to go that way. Go back in here. It intended to go that way. Yeah, there now. Oh, that's so weird. Now it's going to go to the right lane just when this person's slowing way down. That was a failure. All these lane problems, it just is terrible. Again, Gracie needs to stay right here. What's she gonna do? Yep, she's gonna stay right. That was good. Good. This is actually perfect. This is where I would want to be. This is the far left lane. This lane merges in. These are the through lanes. The toll booth is just over the crest here. No, now it wants to go. I'm going to cancel that. Stay here. I'm going to just stay here. Just stay here. Okay, navigate on autopilot ending. Okay, we're in autopilot through here. Alright, did that. Okay, now what happens? We got cars everywhere. Doing okay. Oh, right back in. And once again, we're in the left-hand lane doing 60, which you would think is more than enough when the speed limit's 55, but as you see, it ain't nowhere close to what people actually drive. So again, I'm going to manually move over. What just happened there? Oh, why did that happen? I'm going to manually move over here. Go all the way to the right lane. Oh, this is interesting. What do we got going? Let's see what happens here. We got plenty of room to do something here. Oh! I gotta break it out. It looked like it would have did it, but it was too close for my comfort. Oh. No. Stay here. So it wants to be over in that lane. This is really interesting. This is not normal construction here. Let's see what it does. This is really interesting. Still no traffic cones here. It says I don't have a lane. I can't be over. Well, let's see what happens. Oh, and people walking here. Oh my gosh. Is this really scary? All right, they're cleaning things up. All right. Oh, that was interesting. It saw the traffic. A lot of interesting things happen there. We'll catch that in the back end. All right, now what happens here? This is going to be, we have another toll booth coming up here. I'm going to navigate on autopilot ending. Let's see what it does. Starts slowing down. Very good. Thank you. Back in autopilot. What's it do here? Comes to grinding halt. We're going to go ahead and brake out and go to the right here. Very good. And if I don't touch anything, I haven't broken out of tack yet. What will it do? No, it's like... This is the natural route of the road, so we'll see what autopilot allows to happen. I assume I'll have to brake out. Oh, it got close to that curve though. Yep. My AP1 car could not drive any of this, even on autopilot. All these little ridges and knolls, it couldn't do any of that. So this, while this is still limited functionality through here and beyond what Tesla advertises autopilot is capable of doing, it's still remarkably competent on these roads. All right, we're coming up to the traffic circle now. This is partly why I chose this route back to the supercharger. Is this is a nice little test case. Obviously, autopilot cannot do this yet. I'm going to go ahead and just brake out because I know that it doesn't do it. It starts slowing down, but you can see it's pretty aggressive here. I mean, so that's just not at all in the skill sets yet. So I'm going to manually brake out here because I know it doesn't do it. Good example here also of human beings. Actually see it show up there on the center display. Check that in the video. Come on. Oh, well, that's interesting. Oh, even autopilot is really freaking out there. Let's see if we can. Now is this herky-jerky. I'm going to just brake out. The car behind me is probably going, what are you doing? And then I chose this route here too because we have to make this left-hand turn on a divided road without signals, just a stop sign, pretty bad sight lines. So I'm not, you can see here, I'll make sure to do a, who's got what here? So I have no idea what the guys in front of me are going to do. Okay, looks like he's going straight. Yep, it looks like he's going straight. So I will, there you go. That'll be a really tough intersection to try. Cross that lane marker. All right, we should be able to just go right into navigate on autopilot now. Adjust our speed. Got some merges that happen here. Let's see how we do. Cars are all around us. No big deal. Everything just slots in fine. Again, some. Yeah. Signaling before it can go over. What's it going to do here? It just, once again, it just starts and then stops. It's like, could you do it any worse than that? Let's go. Come on. That's just another great example. Like, why would it start turning its turn signal on literally when you're beside a car? It makes no sense why to do that. And we'll just see how it does through here. Generally, it's way too slow compared to what others are driving. It also usually makes some odd lane change choices. We do need to be almost all the way to the left. It is saying that it's, be ready, because I don't know what all I can do here, but I'm going to try. So there again. Needs to be one more at least. That's good. Oh, there again. Had all the time in the world, and now, oh, there you go. It actually did it across the white line. Didn't think it would do that. And here's where it just needed to stop, but instead it. All right, back to autopilot. That's as expected. I'll let it go in autopilot as much as I can here. See if I don't annoy everyone too much. Oh, that's way too slow. It needs to go probably 30. No, there you go. Now that's about right here. Too slow coming in though. A little uneven. There we go. And it's, again, I'm going to use the accelerator here because the car is stopping because it dropped out of autopilot, navigate on autopilot. It would have likely come to an almost complete stop there before moving forward, which is a smart thing to do. Here, and the last two things I won't be able to show here because there's just no way to show them yet. The Challenge 22 and 23 are about are the ability to smart park and to smart charge, essentially to be able to plug the car in itself to charge. Those are nowhere near being announced. All right, there we are at the end of run number one of the FSD Feature Complete Challenge, and around Washington, D.C., which includes Virginia, D.C., and Maryland. Total trip is about 102 miles. Anyway, thanks for joining. I hope you'll follow along with this and future runs as Tesla rolls out additional versions of the software and adds new skills to the complement of what full self-driving can do. Have a good day.